My name is Joey Luiso. I'm from Olive Branch, Mississippi, and I went to undergrad at the University of Texas at Tyler. So my story is not quite as romantic as some other people's, but I always knew I wanted to go into the medical field, I think since high school. And my junior year of undergrad, I realized I needed to figure out where I was going to go afterwards. So I sat down with a career counselor and took something called the Strong Interest Inventory. And my number one result for careers where I would probably be happiest based on my answers from the survey was optometry. I never considered going into optometry for some reason. It just really wasn't on my radar. So I started doing research online, and I liked what I saw. Started doing job shadowing, and that's kind of what sealed the deal. I kind of fell in love with it after all the shadowing. So I shadowed in a private practice, an institutional practice, and a retail practice, three very different ways of practicing optometry. And I kind of enjoyed all three of them. The biggest impression that I got was kind of how happy they all were to just be at their jobs every day. That made the biggest impression. And then patient care is amazing. The patients are all, really grateful for the work that we do. So I haven't fully decided if I want to specialize in an area yet. I know right now I like ocular disease and contact lenses as well. But we're about to start seeing patients next week, so I like to get a little bit more experience before I fully commit to something. I'm most excited about finally applying all the stuff we've been learning for the past 2 years. We've had some experiences like school screenings and smaller scale things like that. But yeah, I'm excited to actually solve problems for people for the first time using all this knowledge. So I definitely explored other schools. I'm from Olive Branch, Mississippi, so I wasn't necessarily tied to going to SCO just because it was close to home. I wanted to just make the number one priority is making sure my education was awesome. I did my research online, of course, and SCO seemed like a really great school. Their stats and stuff were really awesome. And then when I came here to interview, that really just sort of sealed the deal for me. SCO is a really great school. The education is great. It kind of feels like a family when you're there. It's very comfortable. Everyone likes to talk to each other and likes to get to know each other. And that was a huge reason for coming to SCO. So when you're accepted into SCO, you're just accepted into this big family, and they kind of never let you go. Even a lot of the resources that they have, like the Hayes Center, for example, are resources that you have for life. So it's like even when you graduate, it still can be a part of your life, which is really important to me because, I don't know, we spend so much time in school, and it's important to be comfortable, One of the things I like to tell applicants when they're interviewing is, it's important to check out the school. That's obviously very important. Make sure it's a good match for you. And you don't want to live in a city that you don't like. So I would just say explore the city. My favorite thing about the area of Memphis is probably the music. It is such a musical city, and I think that's kind of a neat thing. Oh yeah, the facilities at SCO are amazing. And when you come in to interview, you have a huge tour, and one of the things the ambassadors do is give those tours. So yes, they have so much technology. The Eye Center is, I believe it's the largest, if not the second largest eye clinic in the country. And we have so much technology there to get experience with. We see so many patients, so many different types of patients. One of the things that is great about SCO is how much access do you have to everything. I never feel like I'm competing for access to exam lanes to practice in for the first couple of years before we go into clinic, things like that. And on top of that, the Hayes Center, which I mentioned before, is an amazing resource. And they're all about trying to prepare us for practicing optometry once we get out of school. And they're a resource for life too. So, if you graduate and you don't feel comfortable opening up your own practice right away, you just want to go work for someone else, you can do that. And maybe a few years down the road, you can always come back to the Hayes Center at SCO, get their help for trying to open up a practice. That's a really fantastic resource for us. Well, when you're in school, you're learning all your anatomy and physiology and pathology, but it's also important to learn how to manage a practice and how to navigate contracts if people are offering you jobs and things like that. They actually start from the first year with a thing called Focus on Your Future. And what they do basically is they usually bring in optometrists that have practiced in all different types of practice. It's a really great way to learn more about practicing optometry once you get out of school in the real world. One of the things they do in the fall for the new students is have an organization fair, and it's this huge event, and they have all the clubs out, and you can go and talk to people from the different clubs and the officers from those clubs and get to know a little bit more about them and sign up for them and things like that. Me personally, I'm part of the ambassador program, which is usually about 10 students per class, and they represent the class, and they do a lot of volunteer work, they do a lot of outreach, a lot of the things dealing with the interviewing students and the applicants, the tours, things like that. And it's a really, really great program. I really enjoy it. I've been a part of the private practice club that we have, where we learn about how to manage a private practice, how to open a private practice, how to manage the finances of a private practice, things like that. I definitely feel like I'm gonna be extremely well prepared for practicing optometry after SCO. One of the professors, I think usually at orientation, tells us that it's the busiest time of your life, but it's also the most fun. And that's been so accurate since we've been in school. And I think, a byproduct of it being so busy is that you are really well prepared. We are gonna start seeing patients for the first time next week. And even though, of course, I'm going to be crazy nervous and I hope I don't make mistakes, I do feel like I'm absolutely ready to start doing that. I'm excited to finally start working and solving problems for people. And I'm just ready to get out there and start, practicing. Absolutely, yeah. SEO is a fantastic school. I can't imagine being anywhere else. I've had such a great experience. The professors and the other students. I think, like I said, it's just such a comfortable place. It just feels like a family. And I can't imagine myself being in any other school.